Hello and welcome to a live chat. It's been a while since I've done a live chat, and I've still got my broken fan, but I thought I would greet you with a lovely fan flap today. So, like I said, it's been a moment, it's been a while since I have come on and done a live chat. It almost feels like there hasn't really been terribly too much to do a live chat about, but today I am back doing my lives because I have really happy news. I have some happy news. Maybe that's why I haven't felt like doing live chats, because things haven't been, terribly too happy going on. There hasn't been much that's been happy to really talk about. But today, I can reveal that yesterday, you may have already seen it in some of the headlines, yesterday, the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh, Prince Philip, made their way finally to Balmoral to have their annual summer break. I am so happy. I am so pleased for them. I was hoping that they would be able to go sooner, but I am perfectly happy with, obviously, August. And of course, yesterday was my birthday. The 4th of August was my birthday. It was Meghan's birthday. It was Barack Obama's birthday. It's the anniversary of what would have been the Queen Mother's 120th birthday. I hope you caught that video. If you haven't, I made a really sweet video about the Queen Mother's, what would have been the Queen Mother's 120th birthday. Also on Steps of Sussex, I did make a video about Meghan's birthday as well. She was 39, and for myself, I was 37. Rather, I am 37 now. So hello and welcome to everyone. I can see you all in the live chat. As always, this is a live chat, so of course I will try and read as many viewer comments as I possibly can. Janice says, hello everyone, and a belated happy birthday to me. Well, thank you so much. So, in honour of the Queen moving to Balmoral for her summer break, I have switched up my brooches. Now, some of you may have noticed from the photographs that the Queen was wearing a golden stag brooch. Now, I've got my own version here, which is a stag. It's not a royal replica, but it is Scottish plume. This was actually my own grandmother's, who I inherited this off. It is actually Scottish plume. That is what its name is. So I thought that was rather appropriate. I'm also wearing a tiara which was gifted to me by a viewer, and it's not a royal replica, but it is kind of what I like to call the Balmoral tiara, because it's very kind of reminiscent of the the Highlands of Scotland. So I changed up my jewellery for the occasion. Majones says Prince Philip does not look well. I actually thought he looked well. I thought he looked well at the wedding, and it's always a little bit hard to tell how people look when they're actually sat down in a car and, a long lens is taking a photograph through a window. I didn't think he looked terribly too badly. I think everyone's going to have their opinion, but you've got to remember he is in his late 90s. He's coming up to his 100th birthday. So, how would you look if you were nearly 100 years old? I actually think if we go from a more recent photograph, as in Princess Beatrice's wedding photograph that was taken by a proper camera in a proper setting, I actually think he looked incredibly healthy in the Princess Beatrice photo. The Queen did look really stunning on her way. I think she'd had her hair freshly cut because her perm looked a little bit shorter than what it has done when we've seen her out and about in previous occasions, especially from the wedding. It looked like it had been cut. It looked like it had been recently reset. If you notice from the photograph, the Queen changed up her jewellery. So once we saw her the other end back in Scotland, she had changed. She was wearing a headscarf. Of course, she is very much the country woman, so she had her headscarf on. She had the stag brooch on. Now, the stag brooch isn't a new brooch. It's one that she has worn on occasions when she's in Scotland at Balmoral. So it's not a new brooch, but it is one, that she wears every now and again when she's up in Scotland. Probably wears it quite a lot in private as well. Thank you again for all of the belated birthdays coming in. Lauren says the Queen is probably like all of us, running to the hairdressers. I did it too. I've had my hair cut as well, so I'm sure the Queen was exactly the same as us. Right, if people are getting a black screen, refresh. As far as I can see, there's been no black screen on the replay that I'm watching on the screen in front. So if you are experiencing any technical difficulties, always try to refresh. Right, I'm going to go to an article that was written about the Queen travelling to Balmoral, because I just want to kind of talk a little bit more about that, and then we'll move on to some other stories that have happened over the past couple of days, which I think are worthy of talking about. So, the Queen, who is now obviously 94, has celebrated by going on her summer break, where she will typically probably stay now until about October. Whether or not she'll have a prolonged Balmoral stay to make up for the missing weeks, I don't know. There's no reason why she couldn't do the same type of work that she was doing at Windsor from Balmoral. And in fact, you could arguably say that Balmoral could even be slightly safer, because Windsor Castle is a working living castle. Not just the Queen lives there, it's open to the public. Lots of staff have grace and favour homes actually in the castle. So one could argue that the Scottish Highlands, with all of the countryside and relative isolation, could actually be a fairly good place for the Queen to maybe stay until Christmas, when she would, usually decamp, well, always has done pretty much, decamped to Sandringham. So yes, they arrived in Scotland yesterday, August the 4th, my birthday, for the start of their annual summer holidays. They did take a private plane. Now, of course, in the media there has been lots made about royals and travel and transport and private planes and private jets. I think most people think that in the Queen's case, at least, in the Queen and Duke's case, when they are in their late 90s, that it is the most appropriate form of transportation for them to take, especially with what's going on with COVID and, like I said, their age. That has to be taken into account. So I see that there is no public outcry about them taking a private plane. It is typical, and I think it was an appropriate form of transportation given all of the circumstances. So they flew to Aberdeenshire, which then they were taken by car to the Balmoral estates. As I said earlier, the Queen actually changed en route. She didn't change her jacket, but she did put on a headscarf and she switched up her jewellery. The Duke also added what looked like a jacket as well. As we know, the Queen and Duke have been isolating at Windsor Castle since the start of lockdown. They have been in their own little bubble, where the staff, I think it was, they switch out every 2 to 3 weeks, which ensures that the bubble is kept safe and strong. Balmoral, if you didn't know, is a 50,000 acre estate, and it is privately owned by the Queen. This is not owned by the state. Sandringham, Balmoral are both private estates. I do actually want to make a video on that, but the likes of Buckingham Palace, Windsor Castle are not actually privately owned by the Queen. I'm just moving down the article slightly. As I said earlier, it looked like the Queen had a bit of a haircut going on, which I'm sure she was very, very happy to have done. Also, I think a change of scenery will do the Queen really, really, really good. So I just want to show you a photograph of the Queen. Now this is when they got to the other end. This is when they actually got to Aberdeen. So she changed up into a beautiful headscarf, a really nice pattern, and she's wearing the same jacket, obviously seated by the Duke. In contrast, if I show you a photograph of when they left Windsor, you can see the Queen had a bare head. The Duke was minus his jacket. So there you go. Just trying down to see. Yeah, and you can just about see as well in this photograph the Queen and the Duke, who are departing from the private plane. So there we go. I just thought I would show you very, very quickly those photographs as well. Also, what was seen arriving at the Balmoral estate was what looked like a furniture removal van. So obviously the Queen does not travel light. When she is decamping for many, many months, she needs a lot of things with her. So usually they drive things up from wherever she's staying, Buckingham Palace, Windsor, wherever it might be, of all the things that she might need. There's only so much you can fit in your luggage to take on a private plane. So anything that she may need does normally get taken up. It may also indicate potentially a longer stay at Balmoral. One does not know. But yes, this is the royal family's typical summer retreat. It was purchased for Queen Victoria by Prince Albert, the Prince Consort, in 1852, having first been leased by them in 1848. And then it underwent a major renovation and remodel at Prince Albert's design. And he actually wanted it to mimic castles that he was very much reminiscent of his childhood. There is lots of obviously information about Balmoral Castle, which I would love to make a video on in the future. So there we have it. You know, the Queen is enjoying her holiday, and it is expected that she will have members of the family come to stay, as she typically would, throughout the summer. We don't know who's been invited. It is always by invitation. I know lots of people are wondering whether or not Harry and Meghan might come. I think it's highly unlikely. Not that they wouldn't have been invited, but I think it's very highly unlikely that with all what's going on in the world right now, that it probably wouldn't be advisable, you know, to travel unless you really absolutely need to at this point in time. I think some people are having difficulty with the live stream. I'm not entirely sure why. Maybe it is skipping a little. I'm going to try and I'm going to try something just to see if it will help speed things up a little bit. Let's just see if it makes any difference. I'm hoping it does. Jaden says, I really like your brooch. Thank you so much. And I hope everyone is having a really, really good day. What tiara am I wearing? It's my own Balmoral tiara, as I call it. Leanne says, I wonder what safety measures were taken with the Balmoral staff. I would imagine that anybody who's going to come in contact with the Queen may have had to isolate for a week or 10 days prior to the Queen arriving. Also, the Queen will be taking presumably some staff with her in the form of a small entourage from where she's been staying at Windsor Castle with her over to Balmoral now. Right, I'm just going to see if I refresh my screen and just see if it makes any difference. Just bear with me a second. There we go. I think just refresh your screen and hopefully it will work. Right, I'm going to move on to the next story now. Like I said, if you're having difficulties, just refresh the screen. So I'm going to start, I think, with the Queen. Now, today, she has just released a message of condolence for the President of the Republic of Lebanon. Now, unless you've been living, under a rock, you will have known about the big explosion in Beirut. So, this is a message from the Queen, who says, Prince Philip and I were deeply saddened by news of the explosion at the port in Beirut yesterday. Our thoughts and prayers are with the families and friends of those who have been injured or lost their lives, and all those whose homes and livelihoods have been affected. And that is signed Elizabeth R. So, again, my condolences, and I'm sure I can speak for everyone, for every royal viewer, that my own thoughts of condolence go out to all of those who have been affected by that tragedy. I also want to read a message from the Duchess of Cambridge. Now, this is not in connection with what happened in Beirut, but we do know that it has been the 150th anniversary of the British Red Cross. I'm popping these on because I'm struggling to see. So Catherine did actually write a letter for the occasion. She also released a photograph of her own grandmother, Valerie, which I'll show you in a second. So Catherine said, I wish to send you many congratulations on being awarded this commemorative coin created by the Royal Mint to mark the 150th anniversary of the British Red Cross. Your colleagues nominated you because your hard work with the British Red Cross and because of the way in which you carry out your work helping those who need it most and put people first. I should have said this is a letter to a person, a recipient of an award. On this anniversary, I would like to thank and remember the many thousands of staff and volunteers who over the years have contributed tirelessly to the organisation's work, including my great-grandmother Olive and my grandmother Valerie, who both serve as a voluntary aid detachment with the British Red Cross. Olive during the First World War and Valerie during the Second World War. Like you, many others, they are both part of the rich history of the British Red Cross, which is helping to ensure many people get the support they need during a crisis. In recent months, I have been deeply moved by the work you and your colleagues have continued to do throughout the coronavirus pandemic. You have all been doing an inspiring job supporting vulnerable people. I hope this coin serves as a token to remind you of the importance of the role you play in sustaining this incredible organisation. And that is signed Catherine. So if I just show you a photograph of the coin, it's a really beautiful medal with obviously a beautiful British Red Cross in the centre of it. I just thought I would show that because it is a really stunning coin. It says British Red Cross 2020, the power of kindness. That is engraved on it. So there we go. Oh, I was going to show you Valerie, wasn't I? So Valerie is in the centre. And actually you can see a bit of a resemblance to Catherine. So she is centre, if you can just see. And I think she does look a lot like Catherine. Or rather, Catherine looks a lot like her, I should be saying. I think that's the correct way around to be saying it. Right, and go back to the comments and see what people are saying. Sharona says, hope you and Megan had a lovely birthday. I most certainly did. I can't speak for Megan because, as far as I'm aware at the moment, she hasn't released anything about her birthday. But I do think she's probably been celebrating it privately, obviously, with Harry and Archie. Carrie Ann, thank you so much. Lauren says, I'm really trying to keep in the video, but I just keep getting a black screen. I'm not getting a black screen on what I'm watching back, so I'm hoping it's just a problem a few people are having and not everybody. Yes, it was very sad to hear of that accident. Show us the tiara. Okay, there we go. It's not a royal replica, but it is one that was gifted, and I think it's very appropriate for Balmoral. So I call this my Balmoral tiara, just because I think it reminds me very much of kind of Scotland and the Highlands. Right, yesterday, Duchess Catherine, Kate, she did some work with baby banks. So if you didn't know, that also new mothers, or rather families and mothers and parents basically of babies have been hit hard during the coronavirus pandemic, and a lot of people are not only going to food banks, but there's also been a need and a rise in the demand for baby banks, what is being called as baby banks. So Catherine has been involved with this from the early stages. Apparently it has been something that it has been a bit of a passion project throughout lockdown, and she was finally able to attend an engagement to highlight it. So a lot of the work here is all about highlighting things. It's about highlighting, raising awareness that these situations are even happening. I wasn't aware until I saw Catherine doing this, that baby banks was a real thing that was actually needed. So just the fact that it's raising awareness of it, potentially people could donate, potentially people, donate in terms of nappies and provisions that they might need, but also in terms of money as well. So she has brought together 19 British brands and retailers to donate over 10,000 new items to more than 40 baby banks across the UK. And I was actually really astounded to hear that there were over 40 baby banks. I think it's good that they exist, but it's also not good that they have to exist, if you get what I mean. So, bringing together those 19 British brands to support. There is a hashtag supporting baby banks. It's really, really important for families to have that help where they need it. So I made a video on that. So if you haven't seen it already, go and check it out. It was Catherine attending that engagement yesterday. I'm just going to scoot over to the comments to see what people are saying about that. Lauren says, I'm so sad she was in Sheffield and I did not know. Yeah, a lot of these engagements have been kind of secret or private because they don't want crowds to gather with everything that's going on right now. Marion says, what exactly is a baby bank? It's where... it's a bit like a food bank where if you don't have enough food and you haven't got enough money to buy a need, you can go and you can get food. With a baby bank, it's very, very much the same. If you have a small child, a baby who needs nappies, formula, whatever it might be, whatever kind of baby provision it might be, and you don't have the funds, you don't have the money, you are in desperate need, you can go to a baby bank and they will assess you to see, obviously, if you qualify. And if you do, then you will be, given the provisions that you need, providing they have the provisions, which is why it's so important to get those 19 British brands on board so that there is the provisions for those families and parents or single parents, whatever it might be, who need them. So it's very, very, very important. Yes, I will be going to my PO box very, very soon. Probably Saturday will be the next time that I'll go because that's the longest time they open for. Right, yes, it is a really, really good idea. So well done to Catherine for, I don't think Catherine came up with baby banks, but for realising that it's a real thing that people are having to go to, and obviously trying to raise awareness and get those brands on board, trying to use your influence where you can to make a difference, and that is what is so important. So well done to you, Catherine. At this point, I would also like to say thank you so much to everyone who is a channel member here on YouTube, which is different to being a patron on Patreon. So thank you so much if you are a patron on Patreon as well. It does really, really help. Yes, I'm loving my stag brooch as well. So let's move to today, where again another surprise engagement that the media, well, some of the media knew about, but they weren't allowed to say. I didn't know about it obviously until it actually happened, but it's to prevent crowds from gathering. So this was today. Again, I made a video about this previously, so do go and watch that. But William and Catherine have been trying to promote the British tourism industry, which has been devastated by what's been going on with COVID-19 and the whole... Am I back? I don't even know if I'm back. Right. I have no idea at which point it actually cut off being live. So can somebody just type really, really quickly the last thing that you heard me talking about, and then I will pick up from there. If not, I'll start that section again. Right, technology, the wonders of being live. So I do apologise for technological difficulties, but we have been having trouble with the Wi-Fi, and also my mobile data actually has been playing up as well. So really, really quickly, tell me where we got up to. Right, I'll just start again because it's probably easier. So William and Catherine were out today, the 5th of August, and they have been attending... Lauren says gone again. Right, okay. I just need to ask everybody in the live chat, unless I have actually gone, don't post gone again. Or else I'm going to have to just keep stopping and starting. Right, William and Catherine. Right, I'm just going to carry on and hope it just plays out. So William and Catherine have been out to Barry Island today, which is in Wales. So it's not in England, it's in Wales. Now, Barry Island in Wales Wales has different... Hello, am I back? Right, hopefully I've got enough Wi-Fi just to be able to tell you I'm going to close this one down. I'm going to edit the video, get it up, and then I'm going to come back on and finish my William and Catherine story when hopefully I have a better connection. Or is it working now? I don't know. Is it working? I have no idea. Right, am I able to carry on my story? Right, no. Is it bad? Right, can someone just type really, really quickly, am I back? Is it working okay? Really, really quickly. Thank you. Right, okay, so I will carry on, and if it goes again, I will just turn it off and I'll be back. How many times am I going to have to start this story? William and Catherine have been out today. They have been doing a joint engagement, a double engagement. They have been trying to promote British tourism because British tourism has taken a really, really bad hit because of everything what's been going on with the coronavirus pandemic. So, what's going on? Elise says now error. Is it an error? I don't mind about being blurry. I'm not bothered about blurriness. Right, I'm going to start again. Come back in a moment. So again, I'll treat this as a separate video. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I will be back.